Welcome to Sacred Spaces Advanced School of Ancestral Communication. This is Queen Carlenia, and I am the founder of Project Home Incorporated, where we are answering an ancestral call and we are creating communities that care. The ancestral call that we are creating, that we are answering, is to reconnect our family, our Afro-Rakanu and Afro-Kaitnut African Black family, no matter where we find ourselves in the world, to reconnect us with our ancestral heritage, restore our divine connection, and to organically reclaim our birthright. When we reclaim our birthright, we reclaim justice on this planet, the same planet that Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, our ancestress now and a psychiatrist who spent her life studying what she called the keys to the colors, to this first global terroristic system of racism slash white supremacy, which he said was the same thing. It was a system set in place by people who classified everybody else as non-white, and put this system in place to protect themselves from genetic annihilation. And so she created a definition of racism, and she said, you know what, when you study this and you really begin to understand what this system is, how it works, how it operates in every area of people activity, then you will begin, or we will begin to be able to formulate a response to it. Coming into knowledge of our culture led me to the realization that all of the answers literally lie at our roots. They literally lie at our roots. And the thing is that we have been conditioned to reject ourselves, even in places that we don't know or don't understand. We talk against ourselves. We speak against ourselves really unknowingly, but as we begin to gain knowledge, we begin to change our thoughts, our intentions, our actions, and we begin to come back into our right mind. And so, my purpose here is to give us information so that we can begin to seek that knowledge that really is seeking us. Because when we think about who Mother and Father God created us to be, why would Mother and Father God, why would God not want us to know how we were created, who how we were to operate in this world? We run into many obstacles, and it really is because of a lack of knowledge, but that knowledge is returning. And so I'm grateful for one that the difficult times in my life when I thought, I had worked so hard and everything had fallen apart, I didn't realize that things were actually being put back together. Things were being restored. They were being put in their right place so that I could walk in alignment with the function that I was given to operate on this planet. And as people of Afro-Rakanu and Afro-Kaitnut descent, of African descent, we each come into this world with a very specific purpose, starting with our name. And then in our different cultures, we have different ways to, literally different ways to discern. We don't even have to discern it. It's literally different ways to know who is coming into the community and what their function is. So when I think about the Dagara people of Burkina Faso, when a child, before a child is born into that community, the elders gather with the mother, and the spirit of the child speaks through the mother, and it tells the elders who it is and why it's coming into the community, why what their function is in the community. And then when that child is about, I want to say 6 or 7, somewhere around there, there's a community ritual that takes place, and there's certain things that that child has to do, and without fail, they're able to let the community know that they know exactly who they are. And so they're welcomed into the community at birth, but that is another level of welcoming. So our names are very important. It denotes our nature. In the Dagara tribe, I'm, I'm, I'm going to see if I remember this correctly, but their They are divided into 5 groups of people. So they're fire people. This is the medicine that they carry. The ones who carry the fire medicine are the ones who bring messages from the ancestral realm into the community. They're water bearers, and they are the mediators in the community. There are the ones who carry nature. Nature is their medicine. They are the healers in the community. They are the earth people. The earth people are the ones who are welcoming. So there's always that person that connects everybody within the community, whether it's in your family or your church or organization. You always know that one person that everybody that just is able to bring everybody together. Those in the Dagara tribe are known as the earth people. And then there are the mineral people, and the mineral people are the ones who keep the stories, the the stories from generation to generation. They're the ones that we would know of as the griots, and so they help to weave and to connect the dots from the ancient past to the present, and they're constantly reminding the people within the community of who they are as they are even creating new stories. And so with the medicine that everyone in the community carries, the community understands that if something is wrong with one of the people in the community, the entire community is missing the medicine that that person brings. So for example, if someone that is married has a problem that they can't solve, they will go and look for a water person, because the water people are the mediators in the community. They will go and look for a water person in the community to share whatever their challenge is. And um and if that person cannot solve it, they understand that there's a very serious problem here, and they will go and seek help of another person. Well, the water person will go and bring somebody else to come in and see if they can help to resolve this situation. If that situation still can't be resolved, they know, my goodness, this is a very serious thing that is going on here. And at some point, they realize that the ancestors and ancestresses, our family on the other side of life, have a message that is very important. And this couple is being used to bring attention, to bring the village together. Because if we go to a water bearer, they should be able to help us come to some type of resolution. But when they can't, and we have to keep seeking more and more, it becomes apparent that the entire community has to come together. And when the entire community comes together, the ancestors and ancestresses, or the Abosom, the Orisha, the Vodou, the spirit forces in creation, they will speak, because whatever the message is, they need the entire community to come together to hear that message. So in the Dagara tradition, they understand that that couple they're not the ones with the problem. They are the ones who are reflecting the problem, so that it can draw the community's attention to something more. And so this is so each of people, each of the medicine that we carry within the Dagara tribe is understood that there's a strength, but without the balance of others in the community, that strength can become a weakness. So, for example, if you're a water bearer, you can listen. You listen very well to people. People will naturally be drawn to you to tell you their challenges, their stories, and they know you listen and that you give wise advice. But if you don't have a place to for your gift of listening to be heard, if you, to be received, if you don't have a space for your gift to be received, what begins to happen is the weight of that gift becomes very heavy. The water that you carry, the emotions that you carry, there's no place to put it, because within the community there's a continual exchange. Just like we have different organs in the body, and they function differently, but they work in harmony together, and there's a constant exchange between them. And so when a water person is burdened with having no place, no one to listen. I listen to everybody, but there's nobody to listen to me. There's no one to hear me. Then that begins to weigh that individual down. And this is when you begin to see that the individual begins to withdraw. And as they begin to withdraw, now there's problems in the community that people would normally go to that individual for, but they're not available. So the entire community is weakened. When the community comes back together and that individual is heard, then balance is restored. This is done through ritual. So everything, the, our way of life, and I'm talking about Dagara, but our way of life is one ritual after another, and so it literally is a way of life. And in that way of life, Mother, Father, God, the Abosom, the Orisha, the Vodou, the spirit forces in creation that operate only in alignment with Mother and Father God, they are consulted continuously. Our honorable ancestors and ancestresses, there's a continual communication through ritual, and that's how we maintain the balance within our community. So, once a water person who is heavy with the waters that they're carrying because they haven't been heard, once they have had a space to be heard, now they're clean and they're clear. That's why I say we got to go to the altar. That's a place where we clean and we cleanse and we clear ourselves. And as we begin to clean and clear, we are more available to the people around us. And as people begin to see the shift and see the change in us, guess what? It causes them to want to come up as well. What's different about you? They notice that something is different about you. You know, in the fire people, I said they bring messages. They're known to bring messages into the community from the ancestral realm. But and they are fire. They carry a fire. So they have fiery personalities. If there's no place for them, for their messages to be received, that fire that is coming from the ancestral realm to heal the community, guess what? It begins to burn them up. It begins to burn them up. That creates an imbalance. This is what we see in our society when we have a lot of people that are very angry, and we'll say they're mentally imbalanced. It's really a spiritual imbalance because now they're seeing and they're hearing, and the things that they're seeing and hearing, nobody else can see and hear. But that's actually the medicine they bring into the community. But because we live in a society that that does not honor that, it creates an imbalance in that person. There's nowhere for them to deliver the messages that they're carrying. They're a conduit for the community. They're a conduit. They bring healing. They bring admonition, correction into the community. But without a place where the community receives that fire begins to burn them up. And in our society, we now look at them as if we're programmed to look at them as if they're crazy. No, if there's a place for them to be heard, and that's why listening is so important. If there's a place for them to be received, then there's a rebalancing that takes place. We each have a very specific function. So the earth people are very welcoming. They're very welcoming. And so people look at them and they see them happy and laughing all the time. But you know what they don't see? They don't see when that person maybe gets a little bit sad. They're always bringing everybody together. But nobody checks for them because everybody thinks that they're okay. And so when you don't hear from them for a while, that's when we begin to notice, hey, something, what's going on with that individual? Again, they bring people together, but they have had no place to really be heard and to be acknowledged. And in that space, now the community again is missing their medicine. They're the ones that bring everybody in the family together. They're the ones that gather the community. So if they're the ones that do it and they're not there, who's doing it? the other people aren't doing it. And so as we begin to recognize what our function is in the community, we begin to play the role that we came to play. And these barriers, these obstacles that we run into, we're not running into them in that way anymore. The people who are the mineral people, they're the keepers of the story. They are the griots in the community. So what happens when they have no place for their stories to be told? You see, this energy has to go somewhere. And so what happens is that that energy turns into gossip. It turns destructive. If there's no place for them to carry to for their gift to be received, and I'm saying gift, but it really is our function. It's, we can say our heart is a gift, but really without our heart we're not going to be here. So it is it performs a necessary function. Each of us perform a necessary function, so it may not really not accurately be described as a gift. It is the necessary function that or role that we play in the community, because as Afro-Wakanu, Afro-Right Kaitnu people, we constitute a collective body. The same way we have a body with different organs that function differently, yet work in harmony, um, depending on our clan, on our ancestry, where we come from. We each, our clan has a function, and then we have a function within that clan. And so, not knowing that, we run into barriers, not knowing about who we are and how we are to operate in a specific manner within our culture. All of that is delineated. It's laid out very plainly. So I talked about the fire people, the water people, the mineral people, the earth people. Who am I missing? The nature people. So the nature people, they are the healers in the community. They can read nature like a book. They're the ones, when they go into nature, they can communicate with the plants. Now, we all have these abilities and these capacities. It's just that we come in with, the one that is our function is the one that is most strong within us. So we all have the capacity, excuse me, to communicate in these different ways. But our nature people are our healers. So they're the ones that gravitate towards knowing about the herbs, knowing about nutrition, knowing about how to eat well. In this society, they're the ones that become the doctors. Um, but they also spend so much time helping other people heal that they fall under the weight. They're not taking care of themselves. And so we call them the wounded healers. And many of you are that. Even if you may not, quote unquote, be a professional healer, you know you're the one that people come to in your family or in your community. And you listen to their challenges, you listen to their problems, you give advice. They may or may not take it, but there really is nobody that can listen to you because they don't get you. They don't understand you. You're a little bit too deep. You're a little bit too deep for them. And so you are falling under the weight of not being not being able to care for yourself, because there's no one else to be able to create a space. And this is where ritual comes in. This is why ritual is a way of life for us, because everything is a ritual. We don't have to delineate and say, oh, this ritual, that I'm doing that because I'm speaking English, right? And we've not had our culture, but this is our way of life. And so when we know that when something is imbalanced, we know what we need to do. We know what medicine we need to get. We need a specific herb, a specific mineral, stones, rocks, whatever we need from nature. We know what we need because we're always in constant communication with each other and with our family on the other side of life. And that's what helps us to maintain our spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional balance. Each of these functions also serve to protect us. They serve to protect us against our enemies. So if you're a nature person and somebody is doing some type of wickedness to you or whatever, you know how to use those herbs in such a way to ward off that evil. If you're a mineral person, you know how to communicate with the stones in such a way to ward off that evil. That same water that mediators carry, that water can drown you, can drown your enemies, can overwhelm your enemies when needed. That fire from the fire from the ancestors and ancestresses, bringing in messages into the community of healing, of admonition, of protection. It is a protection because it warms, it heals a community, but it will also burn up your enemies. And so there's a balance that is literally embedded within us. We came here with every single thing that we need to be able to protect ourselves, to be able to thrive in our natural environment. We are not operating in our natural environment. No one's coming to save us. It is up to us. Mother, Father, God has given us the knowledge, has given us all of the resources. And when we return to our natural ways of operating, which means we have to learn, we have to implement, we have to return, we have to sankofa, we have to go back. And that ebe, that proverb sankofa, is over 40,000 years old. Our ancestors and ancestresses left it written in stone. It says if you forget and you return to your ancestral past to understand, it is not taboo. Never forget. Never forget. Ashe.